Okay, so when you make an animation in Unreal, you have to do it on a level. This is a level reference. So when you get into the project, you're going to go to the main content folder. You're going to find the levels folder. In here, I've created 2 animation dev levels so that 2 animators can work at a time. You guys probably want to use the checkout sheet or talk to each other in the animation chat and say, hey, I'm working on the animation dev level, or I'm working on the additional animation dev level. Because if somebody makes an animation on one level and somebody else does as well prior to pushing to the repo and the pull request, then somebody is going to lose their work because the map will override. So make sure that only one person is working on these at a time. That's why I made 2. You'll open one of these maps. When you're on one of these maps, you can dolly and do all the stuff you would normally do. But you're then going to go back to the content drawer. You're going to go to our rigs, and they're going to, so here you'll go to rigs, and there's 6 rigs here. What you do is you are going to take a rig and you're going to pull it out into the scene. And that's when we get to this screen. It'll be animation mode. You can use F to zoom in. They're really small off rip, so you might wanna see, this is the issue I'm having. You might want to size them up a bit. So I'm gonna move her out of the ground, and then we're going to make her bigger and then put her back up here. Okay, so now that we've got our rig on the plane, sorry, my move speed is like insane. Okay, there we go. So now that you've got your rig set up here, if you check down here, you'll see that you have a timeline. You can extend this timeline as much as you want. You can mess with it down here. Like, you can say, I need 200 frames. And it'll, zoom out to 200, and you can scale this however you would like. But for purposes of explaining the video, I'm just going to show you 120. So, what you want to do when you do this is you will set frames here by, so let's say I take this and I move it. I'm going to save that to this frame. So that is still there. You're just going to go all the way to the top, and what you do is you add a key to the current time. You can do this by control if you're doing something a little bit more complicated, or you can do it by the whole body. So I want the whole body to look like this at 0, so I'm going to add a key. And it's going to fill in all of these controls with that keyframe. I then would go here to 30, and let's say I'm going to move my leg up there. And I will set the whole body again. It will automatically do the solver for you on like how to get from point A to point B. You would just need to adjust like you can come in here and there's so many settings that you can adjust if you want it to be like choppier or smoother or different. But that is more or less how you would do keys, and it will go through the amount you have and then loop. So if I do this and I press play, it will just, it stops there and it'll go back. And I think there is a button for looping in here somewhere. I'm not gonna grab that right now though, because it's less important. But let's say, okay, this animation is complete. This is what I want. You are going to save in the sequencer down here, and then you're going to hover over this SKM control rig up here. You're going to right click on it, and you say create linked animation sequence. You could put this up here. I'm just going to put it in this, but base sequence, you would say, I don't know, leg move, or whatever. You're gonna name the sequence. Just make sure that you have like which model it is, what it is, and then sequence. You'll say okay, and you'll export. So now when you go to the animations, there's this animation sequence in here, as you can see, where it takes what you just did and it turns it into a usable sequence. And in here you can also adjust things like the interpolation. This is also how and where we will retarget. You can loop it here. There's a whole lot of stuff in the animation sequence that you can adjust. And then what we would do is we would then take this sequence asset, and that is what we use to input the animations into the game. So your biggest thing is you want to create these beautiful animation sequences for us, and you will put them inside their associated folder. If there is not an associated folder made already, you can make a new one. But like, you would go in here and like you see these are two animation sequences that we have. So that is how we do this. And then some really cool thing I'll put in the end of this video here is, for example, when I'm in the crouch, we have the idle crouch and we have the crouch walk. And we also have, well, that's the running thing, but we'll do the crouch walk and crouch idle. We want these to blend when the player is moving, so we create a one-dimensional blend space. And this is our crouching blend space. And so what it does is it takes an animation like tree, I guess, like kind of like a state machine tree, and depending on like if you're like moving forward or standing still while you're crouched, the character has the ability to what do you call it? Go between the two animations. So for example, I should be able to, sorry, I haven't done this in a really long time, but you should be able to preview it. Here, I'm gonna close that because I don't want to save it. Let me see if this blend space is better. So this is our blend space into, from walking to running. Oh my gosh, how did I used to do that? Oh, there it was. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I just figured it out. You would hold control and then you hover, and you can see how the blend space will take your first animation and slowly interpolate into the next one. So we'll close that out. We'll go back to the crouch one because I think that one's a little bit more fun. But yeah, and then you can see how it slowly progresses. That way we have something usable in game that doesn't look choppy. yeah, that is how you would do your animation sequences and your rigging. The rigs are not flawless. This is not a very high resolution game, so, you know, as you can see, there is a little bit of warping. If there's something crazy that happens to a rig that you're like, whoa, this is like really broken, you can come let me know and I will get on and then I'll fix it. But like, don't be too stressed out by like slightly funky geometry when you're like messing around with it, because since it's low res, I'm not going for anything super detailed necessarily. It's more like, I almost said like a vibe. It's not like a vibe. I don't know, more or less that. But that is how you're going to animate in Unreal. And once you have that animation sequence saved here and edited the way you want, you can go into the animation tracker and say that you completed that animation. But yeah, once you're done, you can move them into these. Ignore any of the like UE4 stuff. Like if you haven't made it, don't worry about it. Don't delete anything. Don't move anything. And if you're just really, really unsure, you can message me and I can like make a folder or tell you what folder to use, or you can just leave it in the main area and I can put it somewhere. But more or less super simple. The animation sequence just references whatever you did out here in this level. So when our game goes out, we'll actually have these levels hidden from the player, and the game will come here to grab these animations and then use them throughout the game as we desire. But yeah, and you can, this is how you do it. I will warn that if you don't if you don't set your key, the moment you move this, the game is going to forget and you're going to have to reset it up, that key. So if you're like, oh, but what does that thing look like? Just set it. Just really quick set it and then move this. Because otherwise you're going to forget your whole thing. And you can go in here and go like this and copy paste to other parts of like the thing. So I could like copy this and like paste it here, you know? And like it would go through whatever thing it was going to. But like, you know, regardless, I think that's all of the information that I can give. If anybody has questions, let me know. But I hope that this is a fairly easy to follow tutorial on how to set up and save your animations in Unreal.